Today I'm going to show you how to make a basic simple message in PowerPoint, and I'm going to use some simple slides similar to what I've used in here. You can watch the other videos that I've done, but if you have PowerPoint on your system like in Microsoft Office, either PowerPoint 2010 or 2016, then you can create a basic simple message for your digital display. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to create something new. And so I'm going to go right up here to File and go to New. And I'm just going to choose like a blank message. And I'm going to click on Create. So now I'm ready to start something new. Okay. Now we want to be able to make sure that the size of our space here is going to be equivalent to our display. Most displays are a 16:9 ratio. And you can make those modifications going into Design and then click on Page Setup. Now if you can see this, it says here on-screen ratio or on-screen show 4:3 ratio. We don't want that. We want a 16:9 ratio. If your display is more elongated, then you can make your adjustments in through here. But most displays are going to be a 16:9 ratio. So we're going to click on 16:9, leave everything the way it is here, and then click OK. Then it changed it. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so that we all can see it, what we're working with. Here's my layout, and I'm just going to add in a basic picture. So I'm going to go right up here to Insert, and then I'm going to click on Picture. And then I can navigate to wherever it is the picture that I'm going to be using. Okay. Some people like to put them in their pictures folders, wherever it is that you want to be using. So I'm just going to pick just a random image here. Let's pick this this flower. That's not a bad shot. So now that I've picked this photo, I'm going to click on Insert. I can size this image up if I want to. If it doesn't fit my size here, I can make it bigger. Then I'm going to zoom out. If you notice, my picture does not exactly fit the size of my 16:9 ratio. So I want to crop it. So in order to do that, I can go right up here to Crop. I can put my cursor here and it'll show me these little T looking icons. I can move it up until my picture pops right in there. And there we go. Now, after I've added my picture in, I want to put this picture to the background of my message. So I'm going to go right up here where it says Send Backward, and I'm going to go to Send to Back. That way I can see all my text. And then I can put some text in here. Going to call this flower. I'm going to hit Control A, which is select all, and then I can go over up in this area and change my font. And this is just like Microsoft Word. Cool thing is that your fonts, it'll actually show up in PowerPoint. I'm going to pick a font that I like, so I'm going to pick that one. I would recommend that you pick a font that's going to be bold, thick. What I'm doing now is I'm holding down the Control Shift key and I'm hitting the greater than symbol and just tapping it. That's allowing my text to get bigger. So now that it's bigger, I can move this thing around. If I don't want it black, maybe I want it a different color. I can go right up here, change my color. I can even put a drop shadow on it. And I'm going to type in Flower Shop, because it is going to be spring soon, and I know that we're all looking forward to that. Right, so now I have Flower Shop. You can justify this if you want to. Maybe justify it to the left. I hit Shift Control L, which is justify to the left. If you're not familiar with your shortcut keys, you can go right up in this area and you can justify it wherever it is that you want it to be. And I'm going to go over here and select me a font. And you can pick any one you want. I'm going to change my color. I'll leave it on white. Put a drop shadow on it. So there's my ad, Flower Shop. You can make your text bigger if you want to, and like in most displays, the bigger you make your text, the farther away down the road they're going to be able to see it. Alright, so now that I got my Flower Shop in there, you can in fact allow these words to transition into your frame. Okay, if you want to put like an animation or something like that on your wording, you can do so. So I want my flower to have an animation or kind of come into my frame in a certain way. So I'm just going to pick fly in. It's going to tell me it's going to last for about maybe half a second, but I want it to last a little bit longer, maybe 1¼ second. And then I want it to start without me clicking on it, so I'm going to select after previous. I can also do the same thing with my shop. I want it to float in, and you can pick any one you want in here. I want to increase the duration, and I want it to say after previous. I can also have the background do like a transition. Maybe it comes into the frame in a certain way. Okay. If I'm not quite sure which one I want to pick, I can choose any one up here, and if I want to do a preview, it'll show it to me. Maybe I can click on dissolve, do a preview, it'll preview for me. It's not bad. So this transition is going to last about 1.2 seconds. I can increase it if I want to, but I want this ad to play relatively longer than just popping in and out. I want people to be able to read it. So I can go up here to after. After means move to the next slide after a certain number of seconds. So I want to give the reader a certain amount of time to be able to read my ad. So I'm just going to increase it to maybe 6 seconds. Okay. You don't have to put it at 6 if you don't want to. You can increase it or decrease it. Okay. And so now that I have my basic ad and my basic picture, I'm going to go right down here at the bottom where it says slideshow, and I'm going to have to move the camera back just a little bit so that way you guys can kind of see it. Okay. Alright, so now that I have my flower shop in there, now I want to create another ad. Okay. And this time I want to add in a movie or like a background video. So I'm going to go over to Home, and I'm going to add in a new slide. So I'm going to click on New Slide, and I can pick on any one of these that I want to, but I'm just going to pick like a title slide. So here's my new slide. Now I want to add in a background video. Well, in PowerPoint, you can only add in WMV files. That's Windows Media Video File. Now, if you have PowerPoint 2016, you can in fact import an MP4. In PowerPoint 2010 you cannot. If you have some MP4s and you don't want to run them through Premiere, After Effects, or Sony, you'll need to upgrade to 2016. You can also save to 4K or Ultra HD in PowerPoint 2016. It is a little overkill for the display, and it does make your files extremely huge for them to transfer over. The version that I'm using is 2010. For those of you that have not upgraded yet, you at least need to know a different procedure on how to import a WMV file into your PowerPoint program. Ultimately, if that's something you want to do, you can do that. So it's definitely something to consider. If you have an MP4 and you want to use it, my suggestion is to use Sony. Sony already comes with your signed package, so why not be able to utilize it? Plus, you can even customize the colors in it on any background that you want to pick. So I want to add a background video, so I'm going to open up Sony. Alright, so now, after I've opened up Sony, it's going to ask me if I want to create something new. Well, I'm just going to add in a basic, simple background. Go ahead and click on New. You want to choose the ADV, which is the second option, and then choose the 720p, the 1280 by 720p. Okay, this one right down here. It's the second one down from the bottom. Then click OK. I'll move this over just a hair so that way y'all can see it on the video. There we go. Alright. Alright, so I'm just going to add in a basic background video, and maybe I want to change up the colors and maybe allow it to match what I've created over here. Maybe I want it to kind of match some of these colors. So I'm going to go into Sony, and I'm going to go to my by type. I'm going to click on video, go to add media, and then you can navigate to where your MP4s are at. So I'm just going to click on a simple background. I'm going to choose this this called Strands of Soft White Light Squirm. That's what it was called whenever I downloaded it. So there's my video. I'm going to click on open, pop it in there. So if I click on this and I have my auto preview selected, it's going to show a preview of it. It's kind of cool. So this is an MP4. It says it right up here. So I'm going to click on this and I'm going to drag and drop it right down here, just like that. I'm going to click on no, and it's going to pop it in there for me. So now I have my video. Okay. Well, I want to be able to change these colors in here to kind of match my flower that I have in PowerPoint. So an easy way to do that is I can go into Video FX right here. I am going to modify the colors in here to make them a little bit more predominant. I'm going to click on my Studio RGB to Computer RGB filter, and I'm going to drag and drop it right down here on top. Then it just increase this thing like by big time. If I want to see what it looked like before, I can uncheck this and it'll show me. Now I want to add in some different colors in here, and Sony will allow you to do that, which is awesome. So I've gone over here and I've clicked on Gradient Map, and you can pick any one in here that you want to, but I'm going to choose this one, and you can choose any one of these. I really like Sunset and Night Vision. Those are my two favorites, but I'm going to click on this Sunset because I want to modify all these colors in here. So I'm going to click on Sunset. I'm going to drag and drop it right on top of my video, just like that. Now I can go into each one of these numbers in here because each number represents a certain tone or color variation within the video. So I'm going to go right over here to my number here, and then I'm going to choose me like a different color. While I'm dragging this thing, it's going to change this background. You know, I can even change my orange here. I'm going to kind of brighten it up a little bit. Oh wow, look at that. Hadn't planned on that one. That was kind of sick. Wow, check that out. You know, you can do all sorts of cool stuff with this thing. That's why Sony is so cool. Wow, that's kind of cool. Hadn't planned on that one. You know, and you can do all sorts of stuff in here. Alright, so I kind of like that. It's kind of neat. So I'm going to close this out, and then I'm going to go up to Project. I'm going to go to Save As, and I want to put it in a folder that I can find easily. So just put it on a random folder that you're going to be using quite often. And I'm going to call this Orange Blue Video. You can call it whatever you want to. Then I'm going to go ahead and click on Save. And now that I've saved it, because in case I want to come back to it, I can make some modifications. So I'm going to go up to Make Movie, and I'm going to click on Save it to my hard drive, and then I'm just going to choose the default right up here. It's already selected. You don't have to do anything about it. I want to make sure it's saving in the right folder that I want it to be in. And then I'm going to click on Next, and it's going to save my WMV file. And it doesn't really matter what size this is, because when you bring it into PowerPoint, you can resize it. You know, you can make it square, more elongated, you know, your 16:9 ratio, you know. So since this is already a 16:9 ratio and PowerPoint is a 16:9 ratio, this will automatically fit right into the picture or right into your frame in PowerPoint. You don't have to resize it or anything. So if you're one of these special customers that have a more unique shape sign, you may need to make some modifications to the sizing in PowerPoint. So after this gets done, you can click on Finish and you're done. So I'm just going to minimize this. I'm going to go back into our PowerPoint, into our flower shop. And so I'm over here on my new frame, and I'm going to add in this video. Okay. So in order to insert something, you got to go up to Insert, and then I'm going to go to Video. And I'm going to click on Video from File. Then I'm going to navigate to my folder, wherever it is that I saved it at, and I'm going to pick my video. So there's orange blue video right there. That's the one we just got done doing. I'll click on Insert. Bam, there it is. It popped it in there right smack dab in the center. Okay. If I want to be able to see my text, I got to send this video to the background, so that way my text will show up on top. So I'm going to go right up over here to Send to Backward and select Send to Back. And there's my text. And then in this area, get your roses. Just going to increase the size. Then I'm going to change my font. You know, and we all have our different fonts or our different favorites. You know, I have mine, you have yours. You know, just make it whatever you want to. You know, it's all custom. You know, you're the designer. Make it unique. You know, if you make everything the same, or if that's what you want to do, hey, that's cool. All right, so get your roses. Now this, I'm going to get rid of this box. I just clicked on Delete and I got rid of it. This one here, I want to use the same look, so I'm just going to hit Copy and Paste, which is on your keyboard, Control-C and Control-V. All right, popped it in there. I'm going to have this say Today. So by doing different words in different lines, I can increase or decrease certain fonts to really get my message across. You know, just make it different. Okay. So now that I have that in there, okay, I can tell this wording to do like an animation. You know, maybe I want it to float in from the bottom. This one here, maybe I want it to fade. Okay. So this in here lasts about a second. I'm going to increase a little bit. On Start, I'm going to do After Previous. This one right here, same thing. After Previous. And by the way, if you bring in a video, okay, you want to make sure on this Start that you have it on After Previous, and you want it to say Play. If you have it on pause, it's not going to play in your video or whenever you get done doing it. So you want to select Play. So that way it knows that this thing will start playing after your text comes into your frame and it gets done doing its animation thing. Then after you get done with that, you can go to Transitions and you can pick a transition. You don't have to pick a transition if you don't want to, but hey, sometimes it's kind of cool. I'm going to choose Honeycomb, and then I want this video to play about maybe 7 seconds. Now if you notice, this video plays about maybe 20.05 seconds. Well, you don't want to have an ad play that long, because by the time it gets done with 20 seconds, that customer has already passed it in their car 2 blocks down the road. So if you want to shorten up your video, this is how you do it. You can go right up here to Playback, and go to Trim Video. And this is where if your video plays too long, you want to shorten it up, you can. You don't have to get it right on the money, just pretty close. So after I've done that, if I want to do a preview of what I've done, I can go right down over here to Slideshow. And there's my ad. Alright, so now that I've done that, if I like what I've created, then I can save it. So I'm going to go right up here into File, and I'm going to go to Save As, and I'm just going to call this Flower Shop. And you might want to call it the name of whatever it is you have in your ad. You don't want to call it like message number 1, message number 2, Sally 3, Sally 4. Call it what's in the message, because after you've made a couple hundred of these and you need to go back and make some corrections, at least the title can identify what messages that you clicked on that you're working with. Alright, so now that I've saved it, I want to make sure that everything works okay. Alright, so now I want to see this whole thing play. Okay? The first one and the second one, back to back. So in order to do that, you're going to click on Slideshow, and then you're going to click on From Beginning. So now that I have made a new message, okay, and I've already saved it, I want to make a WMV file, all right, out of this, okay. So I'm going to go up to File, I'm going to go to Save As, and instead of a PowerPoint presentation, we're going to choose the Windows Media Video, and that's what you want. Call it Flower Shop, and then I'm going to click on Save, and it's going to save it. I don't know if you can see this or not down here, but in this bottom area, move the camera down a little bit, you can see this little bar scrolling across here. You got to wait till that thing's done, then you can go in and see your video. Right now what it's doing, it's rendering all of this stuff. If you had just a bunch of pictures in here, this thing would just zip, be right done, and you'd be on your way. But if you have some video in here, some moving parts, it may take just a little bit. So we're just going to wait. Alright, so now that it has got done saving, I can minimize my PowerPoint, or you can close it out or start something new. So I'm going to go check out that video that I just got done doing. So go into PowerPoint, and there's my flower shop right there. So I can double click on it, and it's going to play it for me. So then you can post that up on your digital display. And that's all I have for you. If you have any questions, you can call 1-800-927-1778 at VisionTech and ask for a technician to assist you, and we can help you with your marketing messages for your digital display. And that's all. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.